She doesn't remember what you said that night. She doesn't remember the joke. She doesn't remember the restaurant. But she will remember how you made her feel when your arms wrapped around her. Because a hug is never just a hug. It's a silent conversation between two nervous systems. It's power without words. It's dominance without aggression. It's safety without weakness. And if you don't understand that, you're missing one of the most powerful psychological triggers of secret attraction. Welcome to Female Code Unlocked. If you're ready to understand female psychology on a deeper, darker level, the level most men never reach, subscribe now and step inside the emotional code she'll never explain, but always feels. Let's talk about something most men completely underestimate. You think attraction is built with texts, with clever lines, with confidence in your voice. But the moment you hug her, that's when her subconscious makes its decision. Rule number 1. Your hug must feel intentional, not desperate, not accidental, not, I'm just doing this because that's what people do. When you go in for a hug like you're unsure, like you're asking permission with your body before you even touch her, she feels it instantly. Women are hypersensitive to emotional certainty. They read micro-hesitation the way you read facial expressions. Imagine this. You're meeting her after not seeing her for a week. She walks toward you. There's that half smile, that soft eye contact. The moment is open. If you hesitate, if you fumble, if your arms float awkwardly like you're not sure where they belong, you collapse the polarity. But when you move calmly, slowly, confidently, as if you already know she belongs in that space between your arms, something shifts inside her. Because confidence in touch signals emotional leadership. And women are wired to relax around emotional leadership. Rule number 2. Control the pace. Most men rush. Quick squeeze, 2-second tap, release. That kind of hug says, I'm afraid of intimacy. But when you slow down just slightly, not awkwardly long, not clingy, just enough to let the moment breathe, her body relaxes. Here's the psychology behind it. The human nervous system mirrors the energy it feels. If your breathing is calm, if your arms close around her with grounded pressure, if you don't immediately pull away like you're scared of what you're feeling, her heartbeat slows, her shoulders soften, and suddenly, that hug feels different from every other one she's experienced. You become the man who feels safe, but strong. That combination, it's addictive. Now here's where it gets deeper. Rule number 3, placement. Not in a crude way, not in a manipulative way, but in an emotionally aware way. Where your hands rest tells her everything about your intention. High on her back, light, distant, that feels friendly, almost platonic. Lower, firmer, protective, that feels intimate. Not sexual, intimate. It signals, I can hold you. Women crave that unspoken message more than they admit. Not because they're weak, but because in a world where they constantly guard themselves, being held with quiet strength feels rare. And rare is attractive. Think about the last time someone hugged you in a way that felt real, not surface level, not performative, but grounding. It stays with you, doesn't it? That's what you're creating. And here's the dark psychology layer most men ignore. Attraction is often built in contrast. If every other guy hugs her casually, loosely, like she's just another body in a social routine, and then you hug her like she matters, like the moment matters, like you're fully present and unaffected by pressure, you stand out without trying. But don't confuse intensity with neediness. Neediness tightens. Presence relaxes. When you hug her, you're not trying to get something. You're not trying to prove anything. You're simply allowing your energy to envelop hers without apology. That's what triggers secret attraction. Because when a woman feels emotionally seen and physically grounded at the same time, her mind starts connecting safety with desire. And that connection is powerful. But there's one final rule most men get completely wrong. And it's the one that decides whether she thinks about you later or forgets you the second you walk away. Now listen carefully. Rule number 4. The release is more powerful than the embrace. Most men focus on how to start the hug. Very few understand how to end it. And the ending is where attraction either seals itself or dies quietly. When you pull away too fast, it feels like you couldn't handle the closeness. When you hold on too long, it feels like you needed it more than she did. But when you release slowly, just enough for space to return while your hands slide away with calm certainty, you create emotional tension, and tension is the birthplace of desire. Here's what happens in her mind. For a brief second, her body is adjusting. It was wrapped in warmth, in pressure, in closeness. And now that sensation is gone. The nervous system doesn't like sudden absence, so it lingers. That lingering feeling, it becomes curiosity. Curiosity becomes replay. Replay becomes attraction. You've probably experienced this yourself. That one hug that felt different. That split second after it ended where you almost wanted to pull her back in. That's not random. That's psychology. When you release, don't immediately step back like you're retreating. Don't break eye contact and look at your phone. Don't make a joke to dissolve the moment because it feels intense. Stay grounded. Pull back just enough so there's a breath of space between you. Let your hands be the last thing that disconnects. Then look at her. Not staring. Not analyzing. Just steady eye contact. Calm, composed, almost unreadable. This is where emotional polarity deepens. Because she feels something, but she can't fully label it. You weren't needy. You weren't overly affectionate. You weren't cold either. You were centered. And centered men create emotional gravity. Now here's something even more subtle. Micropauses. After you hug her, pause half a second before speaking. Most men rush to fill silence because silence feels vulnerable. But silence is where emotional processing happens. In that half second, her brain is registering the warmth, the scent, the firmness of your arms, the rhythm of your breathing. She's subconsciously asking herself, why did that feel different? You don't answer that question. You let her wonder. And when a woman wonders about you, she invests emotionally. That's the hidden layer most men never understand. Attraction isn't built by overwhelming her with attention. It's built by creating moments that echo. A hug done right echoes. It tells her you're comfortable with closeness. It tells her you're not afraid of touch. It tells her you can lead physically without being aggressive. And women test this instinctively. Sometimes she'll initiate the hug next time. Sometimes she'll lean in slightly before you do. Sometimes she'll hold on just a bit longer than expected. That's not coincidence. That's her responding to the emotional imprint you left. But if you rush, if you squeeze too tight, if you pat her back like a teammate, if you disconnect immediately, you break the spell. Because remember this. A hug is not about arms. It's about energy. It's about how secure you are in your presence. If you feel uncomfortable inside, she will feel it. If you're trying to use the hug to make something happen, she will sense the agenda. Women are emotionally perceptive in ways most men underestimate. You can't fake grounded masculinity in close proximity. You either embody it, or you don't. And when you do, she feels calm and slightly unsettled at the same time. Calm because you feel safe. Unsettled because she doesn't fully understand why your touch lingers in her mind longer than it should. That mix? That's secret attraction forming. But there's one final psychological layer beneath all of this. Something deeper than technique, deeper than timing. And it changes the entire way she experiences physical connection with you. Now we go deeper, because none of these rules matter if your internal state is wrong. The final layer isn't about your arms. It isn't about timing. It isn't even about technique. It's about identity. When you hug her, who are you in that moment? Are you the man hoping she chooses you, or the man who already knows his value? Women don't respond to touch alone. They respond to the emotional story behind the touch. If your hug says, "Please like me," she will feel pressure. If your hug says, "I need this," she will feel weight. But if your hug says, without words, "I'm grounded, I'm calm, I choose you, but I don't need you," something inside her shifts, because that energy is rare. Most men either withhold touch to avoid rejection or overdo touch to force connection. Very few master controlled warmth. Controlled warmth is powerful. It's when you can hold her firmly, but you're emotionally unattached to the outcome. It's when you can enjoy the closeness, but if she steps back, you remain centered. That emotional independence is magnetic. Here's why. Women are biologically wired to scan for emotional stability, not loud confidence, not arrogance, stability. When you hug her and your breathing is steady, your shoulders relaxed, your energy unshaken, her subconscious registers you as safe to lean into. And leaning into someone is intimacy. Now imagine this scenario. She's had a stressful day. Maybe work drained her. Maybe she's overwhelmed but won't admit it. You hug her, slow, grounded, no rush. Your hand rests on her back with quiet firmness. You don't squeeze harder to fix her mood. You don't say anything dramatic. You just stay present. In that moment, you become emotional shelter. And when a woman associates you with emotional shelter, attraction deepens beyond surface-level chemistry. Because chemistry excites, but emotional shelter bonds. That's the psychological difference between a man she flirts with and a man she feels drawn toward when she's alone at night, replaying moments in her head. And here's the dark truth most won't tell you. Women test strength in subtle ways. If she hugs you lightly and you collapse into it too eagerly, she feels the imbalance. If she pulls away slightly and you chase the contact, she feels the neediness. But if she leans in and you remain steady, if she pulls back and you allow space without tension, you pass the unconscious test. And tests passed at the physical level create trust at the emotional level. That's why a simple hug can build, or destroy, attraction. Because it reveals who you are when words disappear. When you speak, you can filter yourself. When you hug, your body tells the truth. So the real question isn't, how do I hug her? The real question is, can you be fully present in closeness without losing yourself? Can you hold her without gripping? Can you release her without fearing distance? If you can, your hugs will feel different. Not because you memorized rules, but because your presence communicates depth, and depth is what triggers her secret attraction. But there's one more psychological shift that changes everything, especially if she's unsure about you or fighting her feelings. It's subtle, almost invisible, and it determines whether she feels curiosity or certainty. Here's the final shift, the one that separates a hug she forgets from a hug she feels days later. It's emotional restraint, not coldness, not distance, restraint. If she's unsure about you, if she's fighting her feelings, if she's trying to keep things casual in her mind, your hug should never feel like a claim. It should feel like a possibility. There's a difference. A claim says, "You're mine." A possibility says, "This could be something," if you're brave enough. And women are deeply attracted to what they feel they are choosing, not what feels imposed on them. So when you hug her, you don't tighten as if you're afraid she'll slip away. You don't whisper too much. You don't overstay the moment. You give her just enough closeness to awaken something, but not enough to satisfy it. That's where mystery lives, and mystery fuels desire. Think about it like this. If you pour an entire ocean into her emotional space in one moment, she drowns in certainty. But if you let her taste depth, and then calmly return to your grounded composure, she walks away slightly unbalanced. Not confused in a negative way, intrigued. Her mind will try to decode it later. Why did that feel so intense? Why did I not want him to let go? Why did it feel different from other hugs? And here's the key. You never explain it. You don't text her. That hug felt amazing. You don't bring attention to it. You don't analyze it. You let silence protect the tension. Because once you label a powerful moment, you shrink it. Unspoken energy grows. Spoken too soon. It evaporates. Now understand this clearly. The goal isn't manipulation. It's emotional mastery. You're not using a hug to control her. You're using presence to create polarity. You're showing her through your body that you can handle intimacy without drowning in it, that you can offer warmth without begging for it back, that you can step into closeness and step out without losing your center. And when a woman feels that from you, she feels safe, but she also feels challenged, because deep down, she knows most men either cling or withdraw. Very few stand steady. That steadiness makes her feel something rare. It makes her want to lean in more next time. It makes her initiate longer eye contact. It makes her hold your waist slightly tighter on the next hug. And she won't even fully understand why she's doing it. That's secret attraction building itself. Not loud, not dramatic, but undeniable. So the next time you hug her, don't think of it as a greeting. Think of it as a silent statement. A statement that says, I am grounded. I am present. I choose you, but I don't chase you. And then let your arms do what words never could. If this opened your eyes to the psychological power hidden in simple moments, subscribe to Female Code Unlocked, because attraction isn't about tricks. It's about understanding what she feels before she ever says it.